All right. So we are recording. All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us here today. Your time is valuable. We know that. We really appreciate you spending some time with us. It's good to see some familiar names and faces, people that have attended the webinar previously with us, but it's also really exciting to see some new names and new faces. We want today to be beneficial to you. So what we would ask is that you mute your microphone if you're not asking a question or something like that. That will cut down on background noise and help us all have a better experience today on the webinar. We do want it to be engaging though. So here's what we would encourage you to do is use the chat function of Teams here to pose your questions, and we will be monitoring the chat and get questions answered. We'll also have some time at the end to
Bluetooth tracker. Okay.
Oh, okay. So if your phone is set to silent,
It makes it ring.
all right. So as we get started, we hope that for registering today, you will receive a Bluetooth tracker. Some of you may already have that. Some that have just recently registered, you may not have that yet. But I was interested to know something. How do you plan to use this Bluetooth tracker? What I'd like to ask you to do, kind of get you used to the chat function, is go ahead and use chat to type in how you think you may use this Bluetooth tracker. What are you going to keep up with using your tracker when you get it? You will see on the webinar, my keys, great, I love that. You'll see some Hiscall faces that you're familiar with on the webinar, and then in the room with me are my co-host, our co-host for today. And so we've got folks monitoring for the Q&A who use the chat, and you guys just fill in there as you need to. My phone, that's a good idea. So I am Chuck Coldwell. I'm a solution architect here at Hiscall, support our sales team and transition on projects, get those handed off in the proper way. Also joining me to my left,
I'm Joey Laser. I'm a HCS or Cloud Service Engineer. Been with Hiscall 12 years.
My name is Archibald Morrow, and I'm an account consultant. We are glad and happy to have you guys. Thank you for joining us.
My name is Mike Jeanette, and I'm also an account consultant. Glad to see you here.
excellent, very good. Thank you guys for coming in here and giving me some support,
No problem.
making me feel comfortable, first of all, making me laugh. So our goal for today is to provide you with information and tools that will help you get started and set an expectation of what's to come in the setup process for Hiscall Cloud Services or Hiscall Voice Connect. Hiscall Cloud Services include voice services that are hosted and managed by Hiscall. Hiscall Voice Connect is our SIP trunk offering that's also managed by Hiscall. When we think about migrating to the cloud or making some phone system change, often that seems difficult. And when the communications are critical to your business, it can be stressful. And we know that migrating to a cloud system is no different. It's important to have someone on your side to walk you through the process from zero to voice quickly and easily. Many of you know Hiscall has been doing this for 27 years. Not cloud all the time, but we have cloud services now and are walking customers through that transition. In that time, we've developed processes and systems to successfully get you up and running with minimal disruption to your business. One of the important things as we look at cloud services is your network ready? And Joey is going to talk with us a little bit about how VoIP ready networks are set up and what you can do to make sure yours is ready for great calls.
Thanks, Chuck. So when you're migrating to the cloud, there are several items on the network that we need to consider. The first being high-speed internet. Hiscall recommends at least 15 download upload speeds. If you're not sure of your current speed, you can go off the internet. One that I like to use is located at speed.cloudflare.com. When doing the speed test, it will also tell you your packet loss score and your jitter score. So we'd like to see a low score when going to the cloud. The second item that we'll touch on is your cabling infrastructure. Our phones require at least a minimum of Cat5e cabling. If there are some areas of your building where there's no cabling, or it's going to be impossible to run cabling to, we can make use of Wi-Fi enabled cloud phones and use your existing Wi-Fi infrastructure. Network switches. In order to provide power to the phones, you will need PoE switches. If you do not have PoE switches, the phones can be powered with a power supply. However, PoE switches make for a cleaner installation, and you get the added benefit of battery backup in case you lose power. And each customer is going to be different based on your firewall considerations. So depending on your security at your business, there'll be certain considerations of firewall that will need to be taken into account. And your Hiscall team will work with you on determining your best course of action. If you're unsure of any of the following items that I just covered, feel free to reach out to your account consultant or Hiscall to schedule a free site survey. Back to you, Chuck.
All right, thank you, Joey. So now that we know your network is ready to migrate to Hiscall Cloud Services, let's look at the implementation process. Hiscall does offer implementation services to get your account up and running. We'll work with you on the setup of your phones, and we'll configure settings for each of your employees. In many cases, the implementation services are free of charge, and they're included with your Hiscall Cloud Services accounts. The typical implementation process could take about 30 days, depending on your readiness and the complexity of your requirements. In the beginning stages, your Hiscall account consultant will work with you in deciding the appropriate plans for features and pricing, and the account consultant will hand that over to a project manager. One of the things about Hiscall Cloud Services we've been very careful to watch is we're not going to include any hidden fees. So the pricing that your Hiscall account consultant provides to you, you can expect to see that in the monthly billing. As you begin the migration process, we'll meet with you to provide training and gather information needed for you to successfully set up your account. So let's look at an overview of some of the steps that take place during the implementation process. Your project manager will work with you in scheduling. They will be your single point of contact for status updates and any concerns that you might have along the way. We'll review the network information that Joey has talked about in the discovery process. We'll talk about things to confirm what we found and any changes that might have taken place between that site survey and the beginning of the implementation. We'll talk with you about how you use your system today, and how you might like the new system to function. Your project team will build out your Hiscall Cloud Services system. That will include creating users, email addresses, assigning phone numbers, assigning names to phones. And we will also confirm your system is working properly and review any advanced rules or call handling that you may have. We will complete emergency dialing so that in those instances, the proper information is communicated as it needs to be. Lastly, we'll work with you to familiarize yourself with the soft phone or the mobile applications that you may have as part of your plans with Hiscall Cloud Services. And then we will review numbers and the transfer process. This could include your main numbers, your DIDs, and we don't want to forget your toll-free numbers.
Gotta tell you, it's been a good job.
All right, so there's that. The porting process, when you migrate to Hiscall Cloud Services or Hiscall Voice Connect, we will transfer your numbers from your existing provider to your Hiscall Cloud Services account. We'll work with you to gather the information and submit the transfer request. The information that's entered must match exactly what's on record with your current phone system provider. It will be very helpful for us to have copies of your existing phone bills. And again, that information has to be exact. If it doesn't match, it will delay the port. If something should happen, we've scheduled cut over to the new system and for some reason porting doesn't happen, we can, in some instances, supply temporary numbers that will allow you to continue to receive incoming calls and make outgoing calls. As you move to cloud services, it's a different way of procuring the voice services that you need. Archibald is going to talk to us about some of those differences.
Again, thank you so much for joining us for this webinar. We do not take it lightly that you took your time to be with us. So we're extremely honored that you did that today. Thank you, Chuck. It's tough to follow that voice. It's such a cool voice. Joey, of course, with the hairstyle, thank you. And my man, Mike, thank you, guys. You know, just like what Joey said and Chuck, some of this information can be overwhelming. Please do not let it scare you, because here at Hiscall, we are committed to holding your hands. We'll be with you, just like what Chuck said, from zero to completion. So we'll be in this together, and you will have the whole team on your side. Some of you may be asking yourselves right now, this sounds good, but this sounds like something I need to budget and come up with big, extensive money. Well, it's a great question. And we have great news for you guys. Great news. As we would say back home, Hakuna Matata. I'm going to be discussing with you guys about ways how you can pay for this. So before we do that, we're going to just compare CapEx versus OpEx. As most of you are aware of, CapEx are considered your capital expenditure. And capital expenditure, these are big purchases of significant goods or services that will be used to improve your company performance and also your future growth. So the examples are equipment, property, building improvements, and manufacturing plants. And operating expenses, or OpEx, these are costs that you as your company incur for running your day-to-day operations. And the examples are rent, utilities, wages, and salaries. Well, here at Hiscall, we take using your capital expense for a purchase of a premise-based system to an operating expense. In the past, when I was talking and doing research for this webinar, I reached out to one of our long-serving account consultant, and her name is Patricia Terry, and I know this name sounds familiar to most of you here. And I was just doing some research, and I wanted to know how much people spend in the past when it was a premise-based. And Patricia shared with me that, you know, small to medium businesses, which is pretty much most of you guys here today, would spend anywhere from $15,000 to $25,000. for your premise system to support that premise-based system. And also, as I was discussing with Patricia, I asked her for some of the examples that she had from what she has done with some of the clients that we have, and she ended up sharing with me that actually, with how we do things here at Hiscall, taking a capital expenditure and putting it to an OPEX, I was able to save a client with 35 users about $100 per month in the already budgeted expenses per month. So the customer received new phones with advanced features such as voicemail to email, a mobile application, and a fully customizable auto-attended. So I don't want to confuse you, Mo, but what we do here at Hiscall, we just take that big amount of money that you would have needed to upgrade your technology and put it into an operating expense. We just require your first and your last month payment of your contract. That's what it will take us to get started. So what will you get with that? You will get new phones, upgraded infrastructure, the system that is kept up to date. So no more costly upgrade for you. 24/7 support, 365 support. And it's all local. As our CEO like to say, you get two accents, right? Southern and English, pretty much. It's not overseas. Guys, thank you so much for joining us here. We are here for you and with you. I will take it back to Chuck.
Thank you, Archibald. That sounds pretty simple, pretty straightforward, right? So let's talk about what you can expect after the sale, after the implementation is complete. Archibald mentioned local Tennessee-based support. Right here at Hiscall, if you're an existing customer, you're going to deal with the same people that you've been dealing with for many years. In many cases, you'll talk to the same engineers. You'll call and talk to the same dispatch folks. You report, trouble or request additional service in the same way. We think that that's an advantage that we have to our competitors. In the case that there needs to be a dispatch, we need somebody on site because something's not getting resolved. We have trained personnel that we can dispatch to your site and work with you to get service back up if needed. He mentioned the billing. That's a big deal because your billing is going to be simplified. No longer do you have these manufacturer support agreements and maintenance agreements and carrier bills that you have to deal with. It's going to be one bill to Hiscall that we will send and provide to you, and that you'll call us and deal with us about that. When you do have trouble, if something's not working right, when you call in the trouble, it's like any other thing, just describe what's going on. Are you getting choppy sound or one-way audio or static or something like that? Also provide as much detailed information as possible and date and time that the bad experience happened. Also include any caller ID with to and from information, or who called and who took the call. That kind of thing is helpful as we troubleshoot. So we want to make the process fairly simple and quick for you from the beginning to the end. And we have quality satisfaction guarantee. Our service is important to us. It's what Hiscall is founded on, and we carry that to our Hiscall Cloud Services and Hiscall Voice Connect, which brings us to Mike. It may be that you're not ready to migrate your phone systems to the cloud. And we know that cloud is not the right solution for every customer. So what if you continue to have a premise-based or an enterprise cloud or private cloud type deployment? Mike, talk to us about Hiscall Voice Connect.
And I'm sorry, Archie, I've scooted over a little bit. I'm kind of the turtle on the edge of the log
It's
here.
okay, I
So
like
I'm
you.
coming over. I like you too. So this is good. But cloud is great. It is, it's the latest technology. It's an inexpensive way of receiving new equipment, and it's a way of almost unlimited features. And so it's great. But maybe you're not ready to make the change to cloud yet. And so Hiscall offers an alternative called Voice Connect. We call it Hiscall Voice Connect. That's where we become your dial tone provider, and we offer the solution over SIP trunking, PRI, or analog trunks. If we use your current equipment or current phones, replacing your current carrier. And so we become your carrier. Out in the field and talking with customers like yourselves, we run into a lot of comments about frustrations with current carriers. One, it's hard to get them on the phone. Two, when you do get somebody on the phone, they don't understand the situation, the issue. It also comes off scripted many times, and they have to stop and read something. And then lastly, we know here in America, a lot of customer service has been taken out of country, and other countries, foreign entities offer customer service. That's what that doesn't happen here at Hiscall. I like to say it as our owner says it: when someone calls for service or dispatch at Hiscall, they get a badged employee. And so we have our dispatch team, and then even on the weekends and holidays, we have senior management that answers our customer service line. So with all that being said, if you're frustrated with your carrier and maybe you're not ready to go to cloud, we have an alternative, and it's Voice Connect. With Voice Connect, we become your operator. You receive the same service that Archie talked about 24/7, 365 days a year. There are some nice flexible pricing plans where you pay for features that you want, features and services that you want, not a lot of unneeded things. And as Chuck said before, you don't have unneeded line items on your phone bill. Many times when I look at phone bills with customers, there are things on there that just can't be explained. Everything with Hiscall is upfront, and we will explain everything that is on your phone bill, which is very small. With Voice Connect, we do the same as cloud, is we port your current numbers, and so that keeps the change minimum. So with all that being said, with Voice Connect, we can do things that are similar. If your business changes, we can change with you. We can add lines, we can add phones, all those things that you would get with our cloud service also. So remember this as I finish up. Cloud is great, but Voice Connect is great also, where we become your carrier. If you're interested in either one of these, contact us. You can do it in the meeting chat over here, or call us, and we will get an account consultant to you. And that's something I wanted to bring up. I was talking to a customer yesterday, and I was talking about one of our engineers coming out with me to do a site survey, and they said, hey, please don't do that. We haven't put it in the budget for an engineer. No, those are free. There's a service that Hiscall provides that we come out and we do site surveys. So there's no extra cost there. So closing up, cloud is great. Hiscall Voice Connect is great also. And if you want a carrier that stresses quality, that stresses support and service, give us a call. We would love to be your carrier. And I think I've covered it all.
I think we did.
All right. Thank you, Chuck. Thank you. I'll go back to my pond over here.
They don't slide too far, you disappear. As we recap here, I wanted to remind you to post any questions that you might have into the chat on here on our platform. And as we recap, we know that lots of folks are moving to the cloud. We want to be your partner in that. If that's what you're looking to do for the future of your communications at your business, we hope that you will consider Hiscall. We believe that we have a great offering that is competitively priced, and transparent in our pricing, our billing, and dealing with us. You know who you'll be contacting and getting in touch with. For attending today, we are offering free trials. So if you're interested in seeing what this Hiscall Cloud Services is all about, get in touch with your Hiscall account consultant. If you don't yet have an account consultant, just reach out to us here at Hiscall, and we can get you set up with a free trial. We want to instill confidence in us in Hiscall that we can successfully get you there. As I mentioned earlier, Hiscall's been doing this type of service for over 27 years. And in that time, many of you have depended upon us, and we're here to now take you to the cloud if that's where you want to go. So the last thing that we'll mention today is to mark your calendars. We want to encourage you to attend our Hiscall Technology Showcase. As I look through the names on the webinar today, some of you remember and have attended previous technology showcases. We've not had one for a couple of years, and we're excited to bring it back this year on October 24th. It'll be right here in Dixon, and it's going to be a fun-filled half day with our manufacturing partners here talking about their technologies. We're planning to have a roundtable with a Microsoft Teams discussion, how you can leverage Teams with your communication systems. Most importantly, maybe you get to see the Hiscall team. We'll be there and meet and greet and share some food together. There'll be food trucks and time to eat. So with that, I would like to say, if for some reason you don't receive your Bluetooth tracker for attending today, let us know. Let your account consultant know, and we can make sure that you get that. We know that some are still in transit and you haven't received it yet, but we've already mailed out many, so we're in good shape there. Are there any questions as we wrap up today? We covered a good bit of information. We intended to keep this about 30 minutes, just being respectful of your time and to see how that time frame works for the webinar. I hope that it's been packed with useful information to you. Do you have any questions? If you don't want to put it in chat, right now is a good time. You can unmute and just ask it live, and we'll get it answered for you. All right, there's one from Bob. Does the cloud-based phone system integrate with PA paging systems?
Yes, we can do that. And typically what we'll do is we'll come out and do a site survey ahead of time. If you're looking to go to the cloud, and we will just see how it interfaces with your existing paging system, whether it's IP paging or analog truck based or station based. But yes, we can definitely make that work.
We've done it many times, haven't we?
We have, yes.
All right. That's a great question.
That is.
Anybody else?
Hey, this is Tim with First Federal.
Hey, Tim.
How long? I know our end of life is like, I think Miss Terry and Don told me like 29. How far in advance do we need to start?
Well, you have lots of users in multiple locations, so some of that's going to depend on the life cycle of the product that you're talking about. Support is going to be going through 2029. My expectation is that additions will come before that time. So you're looking at, I would say, what, 90 days to get the size of First Federal with multiple locations and hundreds of users to get them configured and moved over and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I've done talk to money guys here. They're good with it. So I didn't know if we needed to start. I mean, can you have a hybrid with both of them running? If we move stuff, put it on one, go ahead and get the Connect up and running, and or the cloud running and add it that way, or does it all need to be moved at one time?
I would say that you were going to want your folks on one system and to limit any integration that you would do where you had them on multiple systems where they are not using the same directory to pull up people, where they might be used to seeing status of users and busy indicators when people are on the phone and that type of thing, to limit the time that you might have them on two different systems.
And Tim, we can get this built, ahead of time in our lab and tested everything out. So pretty much we can deploy this all at once and just have technicians go up to the remote location for the smaller branches and set the phones out. But all this will be handled ahead of time, so we'll be ready to go.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So it'll just be rolling phones at your sites, and those will be pre-configured and delivered to the site and set out and fired up.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Tim.
I want to give a shout out to Tim. Tim and I haven't talked in a long time. Just want to say, hey, Tim.
Hey, what's up, buddy? That's been a long time.
Yeah, Tim was our pitcher for my 12-year-old season. We went undefeated, and Tim was our star guy.
Is that right?
Yep. Haven't talked to Tim in 40 years, so it's cool to hear your voice.
Yeah, you too, sir.
All right. Anybody else? Can you touch on the texting feature? You want to take that one?
So I know we do have an app for the third party that we use. I'm not that familiar with it. Not sure if we've integrated customer yet with that. I know it's there and available.
Texting, it's included in the higher tier plan. If
Yes.
I remember correctly,
Yes.
right?
Yes, it is available, and we are subscribed to that service, so we're able to sell that.
Another good question. Anybody else? Keep the questions coming. All right. We'll have one oh, here we go. That's Tricia. Tricia answering questions. Pops in there and I thought it was going to be a question.
Amen, I reckon.
All right. Anybody else? All right. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us on our webinar today. We hope to have some more in the future and hope you can put some interesting information out there that'd be helpful to you and you can join future webinars.
Hey, one more thing too, before Chuck ends this, the Hiscall Technology Showcase. It's another great way for our clientele and prospects to network. We have a great diverse clientele from healthcare to financial services to education. So I just wanted to throw it out there to you, to everyone who's here on the webinar, that you may end up meeting somebody you've been wanting to get in touch with as well in that sector. So it's a great way to network that I would encourage some of you guys to even bring your business cards to just network and great to know other people as well. Back to you.
Excellent. Good word, Archibald. Thank you for attending, everybody. Have a great day. We hope to hear from you soon.
Ciao.